Hello guys and welcome back to a new video, and today I'll be doing a video on a book about Sudha Murthy. There's a lot as you can see, so I'll be showing you all of that. Sudha Murthy is a well-known Indian author, a social worker, a computer science engineer, and the chairperson of the Infosys Foundation. You all know her husband, N.K. Narayana Murthy, the co-founder of the Infosys, which is one of the biggest IT companies in the world. She was born and studied in Karnataka, and later she joined Tata. The interesting thing is that she was the first female engineer in Telco. Most of her writings are fictions and are published by Penguin. She is a well-known author and is ranked as the top trending speakers in 2021. The important thing in Sudha Murthy's writing is her social commitment. In all her books and novels, we can see that there is some good messages and a fight against social evil. I also noticed something else, the simplicity in narration. Even children can also read this book. After reading a couple of her books, I got interested about her social life and literature. It's good to hear that her vision of library for each school, and she had set up over 70,000 libraries. It's amazing, right? As I told you before, she is the chairperson of the Infosys Foundation. I've read 11 books of Sudha Murthy. I think there's 23 books, I'm not sure, but I only have read 11 books. I'll be showing you all of that. This book is called Wise and Otherwise. There's a lot of stories in this. This is all a true story that happened to Sudha Murthy. There's so many stories in this book, but this is one of my favorite stories. It's about an old man whose son dumped him in an old age home after declaring him to be a homeless stranger. It's really sad. Even Sudha Murthy said that in that story. This book is called Something Happened on the Way to Heaven. This is similar to the last book, Wise and Otherwise. But the difference is that in the last book, it was about Sudha Murthy's real incidents. But in this book, it was about different people's incidents, which is very amazing. But one of my favorite stories in this book was about this girl whose father always loses his glasses. That story was very good. I loved that one. These books were one of my favorite ones. This book is called The Daughter from a Wishing Tree. The special thing about this book is that there's stories that you have never heard of in Mahabharata and Ramayana like that. This book contains stories about Parvati and Ashoka Sundari and many more goddesses, which is very amazing. I loved this one. This book is similar to the book that I showed you before, but this book is way more cooler. This book contains stories about the Tretinny, like Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. The interesting in this book is that there's stories about Garuda and how he was born, which is something that I've never heard of. This book is very good, especially for kids. These grandma stories are so fun to read. I really enjoyed this book. It is very nice. You should also read this. You can say how good this book is just by looking at the front cover. Now let's look at the interesting ones. In this book, there is these two men who are searching for their mother they have never knew about. This book is like an adventure, like finding a mother they have never knew is like a big thing. And when you read the first page, you want to read the second. And when you read the second, you can't stop reading it. This book is called Gently Falls the Buckler. In this book, it's about a boy and a girl who loved each other since the college days. But after the marriage, the guy literally bans her just to be successful. This book was very nice and I loved the ending. It was very good. This is also one of Sudha Murthy's experience. In this book, she wanted to help a community called Devadasi. With the help of her father, she was able to help them and became their leader. This book is very good. I recommend you to read this. This book is called Mahashiva. This is one of Sudha Murthy's famous books. It's a bit similar to the book Gently Falls the Buckler, but the story is different. It's romantic at first, but it becomes very sad at the end. In the story, it's about a girl who married a high-class man, but after the marriage, she discovered a white patch on her foot. She learns that she had leukoderma. Then she was abandoned by her in-laws and her husband. She even decided to commit suicide, but she was afraid to do that, so she decided to rebuild her life again. This was a very wonderful story. I loved this one. This is also one of the books that has Indian myths, which is one of my favorite books. This book has the stories that we have never read in Mahabharata, which is very interesting. There are some stories about Pandavas' grandchildren, which is also amazing. Last but not least, we have this book. It's called Here, There and Everywhere. Every story in this book is about Sudha Murthy's experience. My favorite story in this book was how her daughter taught her the importance of helping people. That's why she's working in the Infosys Foundation. This is one of my favorite books. I love this book. I recommend you to read this too. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more videos. Bye!